and I'm a farmer who is practicing regenerative agriculture in my Mahio. And I've been, doing this kind of farming for maybe the last about 10 years or so. So the reason why I decided to use regenerative agriculture principles is because early in my farming life, I was actually growing food for my family, and I didn't want to, and my kids were young, I didn't want to use any synthetic inputs or pesticides, because by then is when I was starting to learn about how food is grown. But then later on, I actually learned that it's not just the synthetic inputs are that I need to think about, but I also need to think about creating a microclimate on my farm so that I can be able to have sustainable farming practices that will be able to give me good yield for many years to come. So I started off on half an acre. So half an acre, small piece of land. Many of us are very used to doing monocrop. So you're growing just one crop on half an acre, of course you'll hardly get anything. But then because I was growing different kinds of like vegetables, then it meant that half an acre was more than enough food for my use. And then that made sure that now I had more than enough, and then I started selling it. So when the business started picking up is when now we decided to expand, and right now we're in Mahio. So right now we have this farm in Mahio, which is 10 acres. So when you think about this kind of farming, at the beginning, when you start off with it, it can be quite tedious. I'm sorry to say, but the policymakers, they need to push. Policymakers need to push for the right policies. Because the thing about it, if you don't have the right policy environment for, like regeneration or sustainable farming practices or agroecology, nothing will happen. Because we'll just be talking it's like I'm just a little mouse squeaking in a corner. How much will I be able to do? And the government is this big lion that is able to make the choices. So the gap is with the policy, and that's where we have to bridge it. If we start there, all those issues that we have will trickle down to support the people on the ground. I just have to say you have to come together, maybe form a cooperative for regeneration, say for example, and then that way you can be able to source a single market. Isn't it? That's how the milk, dairy works, the coffee, the tea. Don't they come together as cooperatives and then they are able to source for a market? But now the lone farmers, say for example, you're not able to join a cooperative or anything of the sort. Why don't you then consider actually, working with just getting like a direct market? For me, when I started off, I actually started off that way. I was on my own. I was not in a cooperative. I was not in a group. But then what we did, because we have good quality food and produce that we have on our farms, then I was able to market myself online and be able to get customers who are able to trust the source of their produce. And through my marketing skills, I was able to get to the market. Because at the end of the day, very few people are farming for a hobby. Most people are farming for profit.